Hi, my name is Wally Jacob, and I am here today to talk to you about how Wobble came to be. So, back when I graduated from college, I was 30 pounds overweight, living out in Colorado at the time, and needed to lose some weight. So I noticed a friend of mine who was very fit at the time was eating these things. It was essentially a macaroni salad with a whole bunch of tuna fish in it. And so I started doing something very similar, where I would, omit the mayo. So it was actually a mustard-based macaroni salad with tuna fish. Is essentially what I was making. I didn't know much about it, but I knew that I started to drop a couple pounds. I then looked into it a little bit more and started focusing on the ratio of calories from carbs, proteins, and fats. From going to the gym, I had met a guy who was extremely fit, and he kept on talking about the 40-40-20. I didn't know what the heck he was talking about, so finally I looked it up. And what he was talking about, that's the ratio of calories from carbs, proteins, and fats. So 40-40-20, 2-2-1. So what I was doing at the time, this was back like 15 years ago, is I started just measuring out cups of macaroni, a cup of tuna fish. I would calculate it all together. I have an accounting background, so the numbers I was fine with. And, you would look at the amount of carbs, proteins, and fats. And I was going straight up by mass, 40-40-20, so 2-2-1. So 2 cups of macaroni, 2 cups of tuna fish, and you got some of the fat in there. What I didn't have, I would add in olive oil. What I didn't know is, even though at the time I thought I was doing a 40-40-20, I was actually doing a like a 33-33-33, because there are more than twice as many calories per gram of fat than there are per gram of carb and protein. So, make a long story short, without getting too into the numbers behind it, that was where it started. All about 15 years ago, while I was living out in Colorado. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was actually sticking to getting relatively close, actually maybe even a little fat-laden, 1-to-1-to-1 ratio of calories from carbs, proteins, and fats. And I saw tremendous results quickly, within a couple of months. I was 30 pounds overweight, the weight disappeared, in parallel with a bunch of exercise, but it was at that point where I first started taking a look at diet and realized that it was hard to come by these sort of meals unless you made them yourself. So years went by. I finally moved back to where I am now in New Jersey, Pennington, New Jersey, and I realized that I had messed up, that I was actually using a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio rather than a 2-to-2-to-1. But when I went to so when I corrected for that and went up to the 2-to-2-to-1, I realized that I wasn't getting as good of results. My joints hurt a little bit more because it was less fat. Some of the sports that I played growing up and throughout my time out in Colorado were relatively high impact, and my knees hurt, my shoulders hurt. So I bumped up, so I said, okay, well, why not switch back to what worked at first, which was, what I was doing by accident, when I thought there were equal number of calories per gram of carbs, proteins, and fats, when actually that's not the case. And I went back to it and wound up getting tremendous results, with regards to my physique, but also with regards to digestive health. I was sleeping better, all with that 1-to-1-to-1 rather than the 2-to-2-to-1. So then the next question is, okay, I got this macronutrient caloric ratio figured out, which works best for me. The question is how to best utilize the calories. So, do you get 20 grams of carbs from a slice of bread, or do you get 20 grams of carbs from a cup of whole grains? It was pretty easy for me to realize that you would choose, or I would choose, the whole grains over the slice of bread. With regards to fats, do you get 10 grams of fat from a, trans fats, from canola oil, or from something like flaxseed oil. Not that there's anything wrong with canola oil, I should say, but the idea was to try to maximize nutrition and fiber per calorie. And the way that I did that over, for the past 15 years is grains, greens, beans, and seeds, and a protein source. So depending on using the wobbles that I create as an example, the all-natural spinach, garbanzo beans, barley, chicken, milled flaxseed, and then there's a non-fat Greek yogurt-based sauce, which also adheres to that 1:1:1 ratio. So these are meals that over time I found best worked for me. The macronutrient caloric ratio, as well as the composition of the meals, maximizing nutrients and fiber per calorie. So they're nutrient and fiber dense calories. Work best for me. And after I had some feedback from some friends that were like, Wally, maybe you should think about selling these things. There's a lot of people out there that want to eat well, but they don't feel like doing it themselves, or they don't know how to do it themselves, or they just don't, they don't want to do it. They don't have the time to do it. So that was about, I guess it would have been back in the summer of 2015 that I finally decided that eventually I was going to do this. And then 3 months ago, March of 2016, I went live at Peak Health and Fitness in Ewing, New Jersey with the All Natural. And today, July 1st, 2016, was the launch of our third wobble, the gluten-free. So now we've got three, the All Natural, the vegan, and the gluten-free. That's the brief history of it, how it came to be. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry if I got too much into the macronutrient caloric ratio, as it can, some people, I explain these things to some people and I can see that they just don't have any idea what I'm talking about, but that's where it comes from and how it came to be. Moving forward, additional flavors, potentially a standalone salad dressing, and more points of distribution to provide benefit to those, the more people we're able to help by providing them with some healthy stuff to eat, when normally they wouldn't be able to do it because they didn't have the time or they didn't want to do it or whatever reason, then that's what we're trying to do here. So thank you. And in one take, I am going to post that one. So thanks.